Alright, I am once again on day 3 of not masturbating. Unfortunately, I had 2 lapses this past week. I was dealing with some stressful situations, both with my personal life and with my work. I had a friend who was recovering from COVID-19. I think she's doing a whole lot better now. And I had a situation at work that called for some discussion with my manager, and it brought back a lot of bad memories. I've had a lot of bad experiences talking to my manager, and I often have this habit of I gotta wait for some good feedback before I ask him for a favor, right? Let's wait for this Friday when he gives me a feedback about what's going on this week. Let's wait until he comes back from vacation, he's in a good mood. The problem is, the longer I wait, obviously, if it's a workplace accommodation that I really need, now I'm struggling with whatever situation it is. The longer I wait in that kind of condition, the greater the probability of a mistake happening of some sort, and then it becomes even more impossible to act. I had a situation this past week that taught me the value of not waiting and just getting to it. It was very hot this week here in Seattle. We're talking almost triple-digit temperatures. We got a heat wave going on. I kept putting off putting gasoline in my car because of how hot it is. I just didn't want to deal with it. I also had a lot of anxiety. I mean, at the workplace and already dealing with a lot of social anxiety. The last thing I want to do is to go to a gas station. Lately, ever since gas prices have gone up, first of all, it's very painful to watch the numbers. I don't have to say that, right? But lately, the gas pumps have been really funky. You insert your card, you need to enter your zip code, and then you gotta wait, and the pump doesn't turn on immediately. I think it's done deliberately. I think when gas prices are this high, people don't want to see those big numbers, so they have a habit of putting 2-3 gallons of gas in the tank and hope that the gas price will go down, right? So I think the gas stations are deliberately putting a barrier between you and your gas so that by the time the pump starts, let's fill up the tank. I don't want to deal with this tomorrow again. I really do think there is a little bit of a conspiracy going on. But needless to say, I delayed putting gas in my car, which was kind of weird because it helped me combine my errands and maybe think about not moving my car, so it wasn't a total loss. But when I did finally have to put gas in my car, it was the hottest day of the week. Not to mention I was even more stressed out by this point. And so I learned that if you delay doing an unpleasant task, there's no telling how much more unpleasant your circumstances are going to become, or what else could go wrong. And so after my experience at the gas station, I decided, you know what, the sooner I get the accommodation from my boss, the sooner I can rest my posture a little bit, the sooner I can get on with it, and the sooner the students can benefit from it, right? I'm working at a tutoring center where the positions of all the desks and the furniture makes it rather uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, if I don't ask today because I think the boss is in a bad mood, there's no telling where his mood is going to go, right? There's no telling if something else is going to happen, right? Just like with the gas station. And so that was good. But the nice thing about my not masturbating is that it forces me to open up so much more. You know, a lot of times instead of dealing with these problems, I go home and masturbate, and then I forget all this stuff exists until tomorrow, and then I get even more stressed out, and then I go home and masturbate even more. When it got really extreme, sometimes I was even going into the bathrooms and masturbating. That's what I did up until the pandemic, or actually during the pandemic when I was working remotely. I've had times where I've turned off the Zoom microphone and the camera and just masturbated. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. But now that I don't do that, I actually enjoy these little spoils in life and face these problems head on because I need stimulation in my life. Now, the big problem isn't during the day. During the day when I have my boss to argue with and strategize with, oh my God, that goes fast. The problem is then I go home and I toss and turn. And so it's a weird conundrum. I can feel so good and so bad at the same time. Sometimes when I'm tossing and turning, I know day 3 is always a challenge for me, so that's why I'm talking about this. Sometimes as I'm tossing and turning, I remind myself I don't want to give in because tomorrow I need that gap to open up so that I'll talk to my boss and ask for these accommodations, and I'll get work done, I'll be creative and all that. Now, one of my favorite things to ponder about is how great a world it would be if, see, have you ever wondered, so there are a lot of unanswered questions in our world, right? We still need a lot of cures for cancer, we still need a nuclear energy kind of breakthrough, right? I would love to have a car that runs on radiothermal generators, right? Just like we have on Mars, but not on Earth just yet. Obviously, I'll let you stop and think about what would be nice to have on this world, right? Obviously, everybody wants COVID-19 to be history. And I often wonder how many of those things were in the minds of somebody who was too busy masturbating or too busy binge eating to figure it out, right? Not to mention, many people eat themselves to death, unfortunately, right? Much more so than starve to death. What if somebody was destined to find the cure for cancer when they were 60, but they ate themselves to death when they were 40, right? I often stop to think about that when I'm tempted to give in to cravings, right? And actually, unfortunately, I still deal with food craving kind of issues. I almost lost my current job. My first week on the job, I was anxious, and when I went out for lunch, I forgot my wallet in the classroom. Like I said, the posture was weird, so I put my wallet on my desk, and I left for lunch without it, and when I got to my favorite grocery store, that's when I realized I didn't have it. And when I got out of the store, I got disoriented, and I got lost, and walked the wrong direction back to the tutoring center. So I was 3 minutes late. And I don't think anybody really held that against me, but I held it strongly against myself. And the rest of the day, I was a wreck. And then the following day, I was so wrecked up about that when I got to the classroom, my shirt was inside out. I was in a wreck and regretting what had happened the previous day. And one of the students pointed it out to me, although the student and I get along very well. I mean, she was comfortable saying it in front of like 8 or 9 other students, and that's the kind of problem I run into when I have an addiction, right? It's not just, oh my god, I eat too much. It's that food is eating me, right? Masturbating was eating me alive, right? I wasn't enjoying it anymore, right? A lot of things just, instead of what should have been me enjoying something, the activity enjoys me instead, right? Having me on the ride instead, right? All right, anyway, 3 days, the first 3 days are always very challenging for some. I've lost a lot of 3-day streaks, 3 and 10 days usually. I like to think of it, and the way I like to view it is, when I go 3 days, it gets so much easier. It's almost like a space launching, right? You get into orbit, and all of a sudden you're weightless. Day 10 feels like you've left the planet altogether, right? Like an interplanetary mission, right? So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Thanks for watching.